Hello everyone, welcome to Voxon Leaders Studio. This is the first episode of WLS and today we are very privileged to host Mr. Rishi Tanna, who is a strategic brand marketing communications professional, someone who uncovers opportunities, delivers sustainable results, and who has been a key part of the FMCG industry, the pharma industry, and you have actually played a very long stint in the financial services industry as well. So Rishi, we had, and just to share with audience as well, we had a beautiful session today of business talk at Voxon University campus. So the session was well received, Rishi, as you know, and for all of you. Your opening remarks as we begin this chat.
Thank you for having me, and I'm really happy that I'm here today. And it's been a great interaction with the students. I thoroughly enjoyed it. They were very open. They were okay to share their issues, learn from each other, and I think it was a very good interactive session that I had. So yeah, looking forward to spend more time with the students here.
All right, that's very good to know that, Rishi. I would like to start with the first question for you.
Sure.
As
Shoot.
part of the Voxon Leaders Studio.
Please.
How do you personally define success, and how long did you take for it to find?
So success, in my 20s was different, and now in my 30s is different. I think the way I define success now is I look at my life in 4 quadrants, financial health, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. And I try and measure it every year and say, have I moved the needle in all the 3 quadrants? And if I haven't moved in one of the quadrants, then I try and work towards making that better. I think what COVID has taught all of us is to be grateful to be alive. And once you're alive, then you can be successful. But if you're alive and unhealthy, then you can't be successful. So yeah, that's how I define success now.
It's quite interesting and a good start, I would say,
Thank
because
you.
that I see that coming straight from your heart.
Thank you.
The next question, Rishi, would be, how have your priorities changed since the time you first started? And I'm sure it's been a long journey, right from FMCG to the pharma industry, and then finally to the financial services where you're currently working.
So in the beginning, obviously, I think the idea is to do better at what you've been given or asked to do. And I think over a period of time, you are then looking at to expand your horizon. So your priorities change as you understand the business, understand the role that you're doing, and then you want to do more. And then you want to expand yourself, challenge yourself, do work that will make you excited and nervous at the same time. So that is what priorities change now. So now I'd be looking at tasks which will excite me and make me nervous and want to try something new. So that's the way I look at it now. And I think it's a part of growing up, it's a part of evolving as a person, which also is part of evolving as a professional. So yeah, priorities change.
And could you narrate any incident from the past, from your professional experience, wherein you feel that you could have done it differently, looking back then, and when you see the situation and the circumstances now where you are, how do you feel that you could have done certain things differently?
You know what, I don't see it that way, because you do those things at those times, keeping those circumstances in place. I've never had regrets in my life. So, when you start thinking on those lines that how would I have done differently, that means you regret what you did that point of time. I have absolutely no regret. I feel what I did at that point of time was the right thing to do, and that's what I felt, and that's why I did it. And that's what makes you what you are today. So, if I have to change any scene from this screenplay, I don't want to. I want it to be the way it is. I'm happy the way it has gone, and I'm happy the way it is right now. So no change, no regrets, nothing.
All right, that's interesting because what usually happens is people have a different way when they work in their career, and they are completely different when it comes to their personal life. So, are you the same Rishi who is working along with his colleagues in the office, or is there a different version of Rishi when he's with his family and friends?
Of course, there are two different Rishis. When you're working in a professional setup, you have to be professional, and when you're working in a personal setup, you are taking some amount of liberties because the people who are with you at that point of time in a personal capacity know you for a very longer time. So I would definitely believe that there are two different Rishis that work in a professional setup and a personal setup. Definitely.
All right. And I'm sure there are certain values that you may have imbibed from your mom and dad when you were growing up. And were there any key values that you still would like to highlight in the interest of all that has been very significant in your growth and development right from your tender age?
Actually, many. I have had the fortune of living in a joint family with 17 members in one house till I was 24. So I have lived with my great-grandmother. So, understanding their life, the wars that they had witnessed, a lot of it came from those learnings because I used to enjoy spending time with my grandparents and my parents. So I think one thing that definitely I have taken from them is the ability to survive and have that survival instinct, and being a fighter, and also being authentic in what you do. I think these are two things that really helped me. And also now when I look back the 2 years of COVID, I get that when they say it, that don't worry about anything else, just survive this phase. My great grandmother had seen the World Wars, the Second World War actually, and she told me this. She should give me stories about what happened during those times and how they all survived. And she'd also seen the partition, she'd also seen the Indo-China war, and so she would give me these bits of knowledge which didn't make sense because that I've not seen a crisis. This was the real world crisis that I saw.
Yeah.
But now when I look back, I think those words of wisdom really helped. So really, having a very strong survival instinct is very important, because only when you live is when you can experience joy and sorrow, both, right? If you don't live, then you can't experience any feeling.
Yeah. In fact, I could relate well to what you just said. In fact, two things you mentioned is, you need to be a fighter, and second is be authentic. And these days, if you look at students of today's generation, they find it very difficult to be authentic, and that is a key, I would say, something which is very pivotal in any career you work for. Whether you want to become a musician or you want to become a CEO of a company, right? Ultimately, you need to be true to your heart and connect with people, right? So, has there been any significant failures in your life that has made you the man that you are now?
Oh yeah, many. I love failures. I mean, it makes you learn, it makes you grow as a person, and I'm equally, happy about my success, and I'm happy about my failures. I think growing up, you're very brash. The teenage years, you're very brash, you're very blunt, and you sometimes take pride in the fact that you're very blunt and you're very honest. But in the process, you realize that you're hurting someone else. So definitely one of the learnings that I've had is, you should be honest, be assertive, but don't need to be blunt. You can say it with respect and make your point across. You don't have to shout from rooftops if you're trying to be blunt. So I think definitely one of those learnings is really being, nice to people. Even if you have to make a point of view, you don't have to say it rudely. You can say it in a more calm, composed manner, and not making the other person feel bad about it. So that's something that I've definitely learned. This is a soft skill that I've really developed I wasn't like this, but I've really developed that. That is my biggest failure that I have, and I've learned out of it, and I've made progress in that. I'm still working progress, but yes, I've managed to change that about myself.
Rishi, I totally echo your sentiments because being a motivational speaker myself, when I speak to a couple of people of different age groups, it's something which, I mean, you need to speak more about it to people. There should be more of awareness, because sometimes it happens that people are just too stressed in life, right? And that is what kills. So how do you see that? I'm sure you, through your career, you have worked in multiple roles, right from, as I said, in the industries that I spoke about. What are the, I would say, qualities that you look for in a team when you're building, that you want to directly work with, in terms of the long-term progression of the company?
Diverse and respect for each other. If you achieve these two, you're set, because you need to have diverse opinions and you need to have respect for each other's opinions. I think only then you can thrive as an individual also. Forget about the team. As an individual also you can thrive. Otherwise, if you're going to have a closed, myopic view about everything, then you can't survive nowadays. You just can't survive.
And this leads me to my next question, which you talked about being diverse, having a diverse opinion and not have a myopic view of things in life. What are your views on diversity and inclusion? Because I understand that you are someone who is speaking a lot and creating more awareness about topics like these. In fact, yes, sustainability as well. If you can just throw some light on these topics, what are your views?
So I feel a change is happening. I feel there's definitely steps in the right direction, and I'm glad that these things are happening a lot more. And diversity and inclusion is all about accepting everybody as themselves, so that they can bring their true self to work, or to you as when they work with you. They shouldn't feel hesitant to make the point across because they feel we are of certain communities or we are from a certain strata. And that's what diversity and inclusion means. I think there is definitely a lot of companies are doing it. And what you also have to understand is the COVID crisis has turned the focus on diversity and inclusion, because that is where the world is moving towards, right? You cannot be looking at only one part of the world. You have to keep in mind everybody, and everybody should be treated equally. So I truly believe that this is a point where now every individual, everybody will start thinking on those lines, because all those unconscious bias that we have towards different people are slowly getting eradicated. And I think India is now becoming a lot more vocal about diversity and inclusion, which we were not earlier. I think that is what is happening now, and that's a step in the right direction. Still have a long way to go, but I think there is a lot that has been done at on ground level, which is very great and very encouraging.
Absolutely. In fact, you see, in all sections of the country, different parts of this country, you look at the developments that are happening, right? It's quite rapid. And people have been, as you said, people have been ready to embrace people, and change is happening, right? So, I am just very curious to know, Rishi, to know you as a person. Who has been the biggest role model in your life when you were growing up, and how has that person impacted your life?
I have had, so yeah, my great grandmother has been the biggest role model in my life. My grandfather, my father, my mother, yeah, these are the people who really shaped me the way I am. Uh, I was one of those few great grandson and grandson who loved spending time with my grandparents. So it was always fun to interact with them. My grandfather used to take me to shareholder meetings for free ice cream, but he would also make me sit during shareholder meetings and say, listen, didn't make any sense of it back then, but those words keep in your head. You hear them, and when you grow older and when you start looking at stock markets and all of that, you kind of relate it to it. So I think they really shaped me the way I am, purely because I was willing to listen to them and learn from the experiences. I wasn't always saying that, oh, I don't want to listen to your stories because they're very boring or they're very old. I think what we're seeing now, even in terms of COVID, like a very simple task of washing hands or taking a bath, it's something that my grandfather had it in his house while we were growing up. If you go out and you come home, you had to take a bath, or you had to ensure that you wash your hands and legs and your face and don't touch anything in the house. That was the clear SOP in my house. We're going back to the same old methods. We're going back to drinking water not from plastic bottles. People are now carrying steel bottles. People are now carrying cloth bags, which is what we used to carry when we used to go for grocery shopping. So life is a full circle.
True.
So I think once you listen to them, those words of wisdom, you don't find it in any university, college, anything, anywhere. I think these are life lessons that need to be learned while they are there and imbibe them while they are gone.
That's very nice of you, Rishi. When I hear such thoughts from you coming, especially when you personalized this and connected it with your great grandmother, your grandfather, and there was a recent post that you wrote, about your father, on Father's Day. Could you share that, in brief with us?
So that was a response to a social media campaign that was happening at one of the platforms, and everybody was putting out pictures of their fathers and with the hashtag. I lost my father in 2018, so I wrote something which is very personal about my journey with him, and from the day I was born and from the day I lost him, how our relationship changed, how from being distant we became close as buddies, how our entire outlook towards each other changed, my outlook towards my life, towards my father, my mother changed. That was the post that I spoke about. It was very personal. It was something that can be seen as sharing someone's sorrow, but I was okay to do that because that made me human. I was like, let me share it. If it inspires other people to go and hug their dads and say, I love you, my Father's Day was made. And that is the reason why I'm here with you. You saw that post and you connected with me, and never expected that this would happen. So I'm glad.
Yeah. So this certainly tells us about the power of social media these days, and especially post-COVID. And during this COVID, in fact, if you look at the importance that social media has shown us with regards to the importance of LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, people had nothing else to do. They just were glued to their screens all the time. So I'm sure, there has been a change from the past, and if you look at organizations in the financial services sector, if you talk about digitalization, right? So people had plans of, and especially companies and banks, they had plans of going digital, 5 years, 6 years down the line, and it became also digital, right? So I was just curious if you could share, your views on how digitalization has changed the entire, landscape, and how do you see, especially in the financial services sector?
Oh, a lot. eKYC, video KYC. Who thought of it? Who ever thought that that can be done and you can open an account in less than 10 minutes? I think any crisis, yes, it brings sorrows, it brings a lot of sadness, but it also brings a wave of opportunities. You just need to be open to accept both in the right spirit, and that's when you grow. I think a lot is going to happen now across, this is our Y2K moment,
Yeah.
where this is going to be changing the landscape of Indian consumers and how they deal with digital tools, how they interact with digital platforms. It's going to change the way we function. And I'm so glad that I am thankful, I'm alive, I am seeing this change in this whole new India that's going to come up with this crazy digital stuff that's happening across so many sectors. So I'm really looking forward to these changes, and it's going to be good, change for good. That's going to be there.
Yeah. And Rishi, you've been working in an MNC in the top managerial level. So, considering that, do you think that there is still more to achieve beyond this, and or is it that you have achieved everything that you wanted, and there are no further tick marks that you are looking out for in your bucket list?
I don't make a bucket list of the career that is there. I think there's so much to achieve anyways in life. I think life is a work in progress till you die. So that's the mantra I go with.
Yeah.
I don't think I have made a list of things that I want to achieve and I'm ticking off those no, not at all. I don't function that way. It's more to do with what changes you see around and how changes can be turned into opportunities for yourself, and how you can grab those opportunities and do something better. So that's how I see it. There's no bucket list as such.
All right, Rishi, that was really nice having this conversation with you, and it's really a privilege to have you at Voxon. I would like to ask Rishi for, in fact, for the people who would be watching this video when it goes live. Rishi, how was your experience being at Voxon campus when you were invited for Business Talk and you had the session? Then there was a session with the faculties. You had a beautiful campus tour, and now you're having an interview. So, do you see that there has been a change in education from the time that you graduated to now? And what is your view in general about Voxon?
Oh, it's a massive, massive campus. I think something that we don't see it in Bombay. I think the only big campus we have is IIT Bombay. There are few here and there, but not at the size of this one. And here you have so many campuses that are so big, and Voxon obviously is one of them. Very, very large, one of the biggest campuses that I've seen. I thoroughly enjoyed interacting with the students here, interacting with the faculty. I think education has changed a lot for better. I think there are many streams for people to choose from. People are more open to experiment. People are more open to make mistakes. I think that is what is changing in education. In art, when I graduated in mid-2000, it was more to do with the fact that you had to choose a certain stream and ensure that you do well. I've been fortunate that I've focused on one particular stream and I've stayed in that stream for a longer period of time. But there are people who want to experiment, right? And you need to have that ecosystem in the campus itself for you to experiment and figure out. And to have that ecosystem, you need to have that kind of management to say, okay, go ahead, make mistakes, try this, try that, try this, try that. I know. So that whole concept of trying, failing, and then trying something new really amazes me, and I think I'm glad I came here, because this is a really, really good university which is really doing some amazing work for the students. So I'm pretty happy. Thank you for inviting me again, and thank you again for giving me this opportunity to really spend a whole day here. So it was great fun interacting.
Thank you so much, Rishi. It was again a pleasure having this day spent with you, and certainly this conversation will remain etched in my memory forever.
Thank you.
It's really special.
Thank you so much.
And so we will be back with the second episode of Voxon Leaders Studio very soon. Till then, please take care and goodbye.